projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, free site screening in schools, spelling bee, swim meets, and their community pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service for many years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And Automotive Art Cayman, your car, our passion. And by Dorman Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures. Visit dormanday.ky.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome to The Buzz. I am your guest host, ORRETT Connor, filling in for Miss Kathy Miller. I want to welcome you to The Buzz, the first broadcast for the year 2026. I'm going to give you a preview of what will be taking place on The Buzz this morning. So from 8:15 until 9 o'clock, we will be speaking to the owner of a publishing company here in the Cayman Islands, and we will also be featuring an author who has published a book. I won't tell you who the author is, but I will tell you that the title of the book is A Slice of Home. That may give you a hint as to what it is all about, but I believe the home refers to the Cayman Islands. It is a children's book. Some of you who are listening may want to do a little bit of research and see what you can find out about it. And that will help you to be more informed when we start to talk with our guests. Also, we will be talking about the Island Soul. That conversation will take place with Tim Heath, who's the owner of Live Well Solutions. And I believe we have another guest as well, Miss Susan, or just that one individual?
Yeah, we have the organizer from the Island Soul Cayman.
Okay, so we will have the organizer from Island Soul Cayman as well, and that will take place from 9 until 9:30. So, very exciting lineup this morning on The Buzz. It is my pleasure to be your guest host for the morning, and we want to give a big shout out to Miss Catherine Miller and send her our warm and sincere regards as well. Meanwhile, let's see what is happening on the various fronts here in the Cayman Islands and overseas. And I will try to basically restrict it to the local, to the business sector. And I think that this is one that persons will have an interest in, and it has to do with baby formula. So Nestle, one of the world's largest conglomerates, has issued a global recall for some baby formula products over toxin fears. I'm not sure whether or not this relates to the Cayman Islands, but I am sure that if it does, that the distributors of that particular product here in the Cayman Islands will certainly put out a public notice informing customers and those persons who may have purchased such a product, informing them of what the necessary actions to be taken. So I will share this with you. Nestle has issued a global, so it's worldwide, global recall of some baby formula products over concerns they contain a toxin which can cause food poisoning. The food and drink giant said specific batches of SMA, and I'm going to pause there for a second, and I know that SMA has been an infant product that has been around a long time. I recall in the 60s, SMA, was around. So, and I'm sure that even before my times, SMA was on the market as well. So the food and drink giant said specific batches of SMA, infant formula, and follow-on formula were not safe to be fed to babies. The batches were sold across the world, Nestle said, and they potentially contain cereulide, which can trigger nausea and vomiting when consumed. The company said there had been no confirmed reports of illnesses associated with the product, but was recalling them out of an abundance of caution. Of course, those are their words, and we know in this day and age we don't necessarily get 100%, of the truth when these things are published. One would hope that they're being as transparent, totally transparent with their customers. But in this particular case, they have said that there have been no confirmed reports of illness. So there may have been reports, but they haven't been confirmed. I'll just put it that way. But they're still recalling them out of an abundance of caution. They go on to say that the safety and well-being of babies is our absolute priority, Nestle said. We sincerely apologize for any concern or inconvenience caused to parents, caregivers, and customers. The company confirmed to the BBC that the recall was global. Affected products were sold in several European countries, including France, Germany, Austria, Denmark, Italy, and Sweden. It stressed that all other Nestle products and batches of the same products that have not been recalled are safe to consume. Nestle promised refunds for customers and said the problem was caused by an ingredient provided by one of its suppliers. Nestle France said it was carrying out a preventative and voluntary recall of certain batches of its Goikos and Nadal infant formulas. In Germany, the formula products are called Bebe and Alphamino. Batches numbers of the affected products in the UK can be found on Nestle's UK website or through food.gov.uk. Customers are advised to look for the corresponding code on the base of the tin or box for powdered formulas, or the base of the outer box and on the side or top of the container for ready-to-feed formula. Then the article goes on to talk about the fact that cerilitude, I think I'm pronouncing it right, is a toxin produced by some strains of the Bacillus cereus bacteria that can cause food poisoning symptoms, which can quickly develop and include vomiting and stomach cramps. It is unlikely to be deactivated or destroyed by cooking, using boiling water, or when making the infant milk, the Food Standards Agency, FSA, warned as well. So my advice, there's a little bit more to this article, and I should share all of it with you, yes. So it says the FSA head of incidents, Jane Rawlings, said parents, guardians, and caregivers should not feed infants or young children the affected products. She added, and I quote, "I want to reassure parents, guardians, and caregivers that we are taking urgent action, helping to ensure all of the affected product is removed from sale as a precaution. If you have fed this product to a baby and have any concerns about potential health impact, you should seek advice from healthcare professionals by contacting your general practitioner, your GP, or calling the National Health Services number, which is 111. Now, we know that here in the Cayman Islands, we do get some products from Europe as well. So again, if you are feeding your baby, your infant, any one of these SMA formulas, you may want to contact your provider here in the Cayman Islands. If you have purchased it from a grocery store, if you have purchased it from a pharmacy, you may want to get in contact with them to get some advice in relation to this. Because as the alert says, it is a global recall. It is a global recall. It is not just limited to one particular country. It is a global recall as well, despite the fact that in this particular article, the mention of several European countries in relation to this has been highlighted as well. And I will repeat that paragraph. The company confirmed to the BBC that the recall was global. Affected products were sold in several European countries, including France, Germany, Austria, Denmark, Italy, and Sweden as well. So we know now that we live in a globalized world, and products as well as services move very quickly. So again, if you're feeding your infant an SMA product, please check it out. Go on to the Nestle website, check out the product numbers and everything to ensure that your infants or your infant is safe and protected. With that, we're going to go to a commercial break. Please stay tuned. The Buzz will be back shortly.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Nesta Alexandria Ebanks, 1901 through 1997. Miss Nesta, or Aunt Nettie as her relatives and neighbors called her, was involved in the religious and social life of her community from an early age. She had many talents. She wrote debates and composed poems, one of which was set to music and is still sung in church. She held high office in various organizations. She visited the sick and shut-in. When there were no satin-lined caskets available, she used the traditional methods of pinking the sheet, making beautiful coverings for the coffins, designed with just scissors. She taught classes of mathematics and English to neighbors and friends when there were few schools. Although she never married, she single-handedly raised one of her grandnieces whose mother died in childbirth. She was also a nurse and invented various medicines.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Good morning and welcome back to The Buzz. I am your guest host, ORRETT Connor, filling in for Miss Kathy Miller. We will have guests in the studio after the 8 o'clock news. So again, a preview of what will be taking place. So from 8:15 until 9 o'clock, we will have a publisher and an author in the studio with us. The publisher will be talking about the publishing industry and in particular her entity. And we will also have an author who has published a book about the
A slice of
Cayman Islands, or, well, I'll just tell you the title. The title of the book is A Slice of Home. If you have really an interest in that, you may want to Google it and see what you come up with. But so we will have the publisher and the head of the publishing company, CLM, in the studio with us. I'm keeping the name of the author. I'm keeping that sort of a secret until they actually come into the studio. But of course, I'll give you a hint. It's a person who has been intimately and involved in education in the Cayman Islands, a career educator in the Cayman Islands. That will be the hint that I will give you. Now, as you know, I'm the guest host on here, and usually my area of concentration, my area of focus is usually politics and social issues. So I'm trying to restrict the information that I provide to you this morning more to business, the buzz. Even though you could get a buzz about anything, right, Miss Susan? But it's in particular business.
Right.
So there's an article here in today's Cayman Compass, written by Raymond Haney, and I'm going to share the contents of that article with you. It's entitled "Perfect Storm of Problems Cause Fresh Food Shortage." Starts by saying a perfect storm of problems contributed to a shortage of fresh food in Cayman over the busiest period of the year, an industry chef said. And I did hear whispers and people saying certain things that they were having difficulty getting, as well during the holiday season. The article then says that Woody Foster, managing director of supermarket chain Foster's, said a cyber attack which affected Florida-based shipping companies that do business with Cayman did have an impact. But he added the main cause was a ship breakdown in Miami and a lack of capacity to Cayman to make up the shortage because of holiday rush. Mr. Foster said the cyber attack was not the cause of the produce and other out-of-stock issues, but it did slightly contribute to it. And he's quoted then as saying, basically, it's our busiest time of the year, so heavy sales, but there was a mechanical failure with the boat leaving Miami, and we were unable to get any additional products by air because the inward flights were fully booked with incoming travelers, which means that they would normally have resorted then to the passenger flights taking some cargo as well. Then in the section talking about normality being resumed, says that, but Foster said the problem had been tackled and deliveries were back to normal. He added, ships are moving and shelves are being restocked. We had a blip, but it's being addressed. Shoppers noticed a shortage of fresh fruit. I'm going to pause there for a second. You know me, I have to interject. I would put that fresh fruit in quotation. I would really put that in quotation because some of the fruit that you get here that is imported, when you talk about freshness, you have to think twice, about it because of the way that the products have been preserved for them to last for a particular period of time. So it's not unusual for you to get fruit that is sort of corky. You don't get that nice texture to it as well. And, I'm not sure if anyone has ever tried returning, a bad product like that. It's almost difficult to prove as well. But anyway, so shoppers notice a shortage of fresh fruit and vegetables over the period in some supermarkets, although they could be found elsewhere. Foster said, and I quote again, most of the other shortages are simply the difficulties of getting the orders right over the busy Christmas season. So really, the only big issue was produce. Supermarket group Kirk Market declined to comment, so they didn't comment on it. We have a response from the port that says, in the article, Cayman's Port Authority said the cyber attack on shipping companies was a first for Cayman because of its size, but the service had risen to the challenge. Fitzroy Robinson, a port supervisor, added, and I quote, something of this magnitude hasn't happened before to our knowledge, but we handled it well. We jumped on it head first, and we managed to keep a continuous flow of cargo by working overtime throughout the Christmas season. He added, and I quote, "As a team effort, we all did well. It's just the customers to come and collect the goods." He added that the billing team had worked countless hours to make sure that all information that had been entered manually was handled. Robinson said, as a port, we are good, we are ready, we are waiting to serve. And then there's a part there talking about the cyber attacks occurring, an increase in cyber attacks over the holidays. Cyber attacks are known to jump up to 30% over peak holiday periods and during weekends. Businesses are often less prepared, have fewer staff or sometimes none to monitor critical systems and data, or even just let their guard down to potential threats, which gives cyber attackers more opportunities to wreak havoc as well. So, but what it means then, if you know that cyber attacks, take place more during the holiday season, then you would want to prepare yourself for it as well. But it goes again to show you how here in the Cayman Islands we are subject to and vulnerable to regional as well as global threats. And because we are so small, our fragility is exposed even more. Now, for those of you conspiracy theorists out there, some may be thinking, well, cyber attacks during this period of time, what was happening in the Caribbean? A whole lot of activity taking place, airspace being closed down, accounting for delays, people getting back from their vacations and getting back to work and everything. Is it all coincidental, or was it all a part of a huge, huge project taking place? That one is intended for those conspiracy theorists out there as well. But again, it goes to show you, with a population now of over 80,000 persons here in the Cayman Islands, the amount of pressure that is placed on our supply chain locally as well as internationally. And just one glitch in the system, one delay of one vessel can create havoc. That is why it is extremely important, for us to try to be as proactive as possible, to be prepared, as much as possible, so that we can at least address those areas of vulnerability that we have, that we can address those and see, what solutions can be put in place. Again, one may talk about Cayman Airways and their cargo capacity. Again, some people complain about the subsidies that we provide to Cayman Airways. But again, Cayman Airways is a part of our lifeline. And again, this highlights the importance, of Cayman Airways. So maybe a second thought needs to be given to looking more at air freight, which may be a little bit more expensive, but we could look at that as well. Like I said on my yesterday morning, the year 2026 is going to present challenges like any other year, but we also learn from year to year, so we should try to address those issues that we know, that we expect to happen so that it doesn't come as a surprise to us. With that, folks, we've reached the top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have a publisher and an author in the studio. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. The Buzz will be back shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Conner. And studio time by Foster's is a minute after 8.
45 years ago, Foster's opened its doors to the Cayman community. What began as a store became something more, a place of trust, care, and connection.
We grew because you welcomed us. We endured because you believed in us. And through every season, we've been honored to serve not just your needs, but your lives.
As we step into our 45th year, we embrace better. Better care, better experiences, and a deeper commitment to the community we call home.
Foster's is better because you cared.
One radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Between feral cats and Brazilian pepper, the Department of Environment has its hands full trying to stamp out invasive species that are taking out precious endemic plants and animals. But there's one critter you might have forgotten about that's still very much on the DOE's radar.
Green iguanas.
In December, the Department of Environment was in front of the Public Procurement Committee, submitting the business case for ongoing work with the green iguana cull that started way back in 2018.
I think the main thing I want to say here is that people have forgotten what it was like in 2018. People aren't even sure that the green iguana cull is still ongoing.
Updating members of the National Conservation Council, Terrestrial Resource Unit Manager Fred Burton said awareness is essentially non-existent, but the threat absolutely remains. He pushed for renewed publicity to ensure the issue doesn't, quote, fade from memory and potentially lead to funding drying up.
This is partly why I'm so interested in the eradication strategy for Little Cayman and the feral cats, because once it's done, and you don't have to keep on controlling. We can't do that with green iguanas. There's no realistic pathway to eradication. So we have to keep controlling and keep controlling and keep controlling, and there's no end in sight.
The initial call was a major initiative that put a bounty on bagged green iguanas, which are a risk to the local blue iguanas on Grand Cayman and the sister islands rock iguana. By 2023, more than 1.5 million greenies had been culled in the Cayman Islands. For more information on the program, head to doe.ky. Underground Sessions 2026 kicks off tomorrow at the Prospect Playhouse.
Join us at Underground Sessions for our monthly night of creativity and community on Wednesday, January 7th. With this year's first featured artist, Leah GC. She's from the Cayman Islands and she's enriched by Jamaican culture. She's an emerging artist with a unique sound and profound lyrics.
Event organizer, local performer Kyle Matrix is also reminding you that the mic and floor are open all night. So if you're an artist or performer with something you want to express, or if you just like good music, creativity, and good vibes, this night's for you. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the vibes don't stop until 10. And you're being invited to join in celebrating Baby Malachi, the Health Services Authority's Baby of the Month for January and Cayman's first baby for 2026. Baby Malachi was born at 4:06 a.m. on January 1st, weighing 7 pounds, 11 ounces. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. The Venezuelan Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado says the removal from power of President Maduro by the United States is a step towards freedom. But the opposition leader said the interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, was one of the main architects of torture, corruption and narco-trafficking in Venezuela. Meanwhile, the Venezuelan authorities have intensified their crackdown on political opponents since Mr. Maduro's removal. Citizen militias are reportedly suppressing any celebrations of the US operation. The mayor of the Swiss ski resort, where 40 people died in a New Year's Day fire, has admitted there were no safety checks at the venue since 2019. It's thought the fire was set off by sparklers attached to bottles. President Zelensky is holding talks with the French leader Emmanuel Macron at the Élysée Palace ahead of meetings of Ukraine's allies to discuss peace efforts with Russia. Representatives from about 30 countries are expected to take part. European leaders have issued a strongly worded joint statement about Greenland, saying only Denmark and its semi-autonomous territory can decide on its future. 2 days ago, Donald Trump repeated that Greenland should be controlled by the US. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar is visiting Somaliland for the first time since his government recognised the territory as an independent state. Israel's formal recognition last month was condemned by several African and Gulf countries. Netflix has removed a Chinese drama show from its platform in Vietnam following objections to an episode featuring a map with contested territorial claims. It showed a border in the South China Sea, which Vietnam said infringed on its sovereignty. And the English football club Chelsea have confirmed the appointment of Liam Rosenior as the new manager of the men's team. Rosenior had been in charge of the French side Strasbourg. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
If you're riding an e-bike or scooter, the rules of the road apply. These devices are treated the same as motor vehicles. You must be at least 17 years old, hold a valid Category 0 or Category 2 driver's license, and your device must be registered, licensed, and insured. You must obey traffic signals, road signs, and road markings, and operate only where permitted by law. These are existing legal requirements. Enforcement begins 16 January.
For details, contact DVDL at www.dvdl.gov.ky.
The Department of Agriculture advises the public of their new operating hours for the Grand Cayman Commercial Center, formerly known as the Sales Warehouse, and the Plant Nursery. Effective December 1st, 2025, the new hours are Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Saturdays from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The facilities will be closed on Sundays and public holidays. The DOA thanks you for your continued support.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Relative humidity is 76%. Your barometric pressure 29.98 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 12 knots. Overnight low was 77 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate to locally fresh winds are expected to continue today in association with a ridge of high pressure across the northeast Caribbean. A surface trough drifting slowly across the northwest Caribbean may bring the chance for some showers today. Satellite imagery show scattered multi-layered clouds associated with a trough across the northwest Caribbean. Now the forecast for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near the mid-80s. Winds will be northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells later tonight and a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures dipping to the mid-70s tonight. Your winds will be northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet as well. Today's high tide will be at 11:58 this morning, with a low tide this evening at 6:33. Sun will set this evening at a minute after 6 and will rise tomorrow morning at a minute after 7. And the outlook is calling for moderate winds and seas through Thursday. Moderate to fresh winds along with moderate to rough seas are expected by Friday morning as a high-pressure system over the Atlantic Ocean tightens the pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. A small craft advisory is expected to be in place for Friday. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Cayman, it's time to go further than you ever thought possible. The Ministry of Education and Training is now accepting applications for the overseas scholarships. Your chance to access up to CI $35,000 per year to earn a world-class education abroad. This is more than funding. It's an investment in you, your talent, your goals, your future. Applications close 31st of January 2026. Visit moescholarships.gov.ky and apply today. Greatness begins with one decision. Make yours now.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio K-Man app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiokman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio K-Man.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Top of the morning, let's check in with traffic, see what's slowing and what's flowing. Further up on Shamrock Road, traffic is moving at a moderate pace. Further down, a different story. As you approach the Linford Pearson Highway, steady traffic. Slow-moving traffic on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Heading east on Cool Road, traffic is moving at a moderate pace. As we look to downtown Georgetown, flowing nicely on Edward Street and into Georgetown on Shedno, looking pretty good as well. On North Sound Road, traffic is moderate in both directions and steady but flowing traffic coming off of the Esther Tibbetts Highway. And traffic heading towards the Industrial Park area is moving at a moderate pace. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, moderate flow of traffic in both directions and traffic flowing pretty good coming from the West Bay four-way stop. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, traffic is steady but flowing and continuing on to Huldah Avenue. And off of Agnes Way, traffic is steady. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. Have a good morning and drive safe.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just the delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Radio K-Man, this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio K-Man.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more. Hallelujah, give your praise to the Lord. We are united in Jesus Christ. We are the soldiers of the land.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
There's a meeting up in heaven. Roll call. It's a name in the Lamb's Book of Life. Roll call, brother, sister. Roll call. If you don't stop shouting, if you don't stop dancing, we're going to put you out of our church.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Your song flowed through my lips. Your work moved through my hands. Your thoughts stay on my mind. Live in me.
Good morning and welcome back to The Buzz. I am your guest host, ORRETT Connor, filling in for Miss Kathy Miller. And this segment of The Buzz here on Radio K-Man, we will be hearing about a new children's book, Slice of Home. I'm still not going to tell you who the author is yet. And also, we will explore what it takes to get published here in the Cayman Islands. We will be talking to the owner and publisher of CLM Publishing. So in the studio with us, we have Miss Karen Chen and the author of Slice of Home. Before I introduce them, I've been on the Facebook page, and I'll share with you some of the comments on Facebook. This was the 16th of December of last year. My children's book, Slice of Home, is available. Happy it will reach bookshelves in time for Christmas. And here are some of the comments. This person said, we'll be adding to my kiddos' shelf. So amazing. Another person said, such a charming and heartwarming children's story. It is the kind of book that deserves to be heard as well as read. An audiobook version could help reach even more families, especially parents who love playing stories for their kids at bedtime. Another person said, congratulations. Holistic Healing Magazine is okay. Well, that's more of a commercial for holistic magazines. Another person says, beautiful cover design with amazing pictures. Kids love picture stories. Congratulations, madam. Another one said congratulations. Another one said congratulations, and they gave the name of the author. What a beautiful milestone. Wishing this book a joyful journey into many homes this Christmas. Another said congratulations. Another one said awesome, congratulations. So lots of kudos, about the book as well. With those comments, I'm going to first say good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz to Miss Karen Chin. She's no stranger to Radio Cayman, no stranger to the studio as well. Our mystery author will still remain a mystery for now. We want to talk about CLM Publishing and give our listening and not viewing audience this morning. I need to do a little bit of housekeeping as well to let people know that our YouTube feed, you're only getting sound, not video, because we're still working on the refurbishing of our new studio. And until that is completed, you will just hear audio on YouTube as well. Ms. Chin, welcome. Happy New Year to you and to your family as well.
Thank you, Osi. I am so happy that you gave me such a wonderful, warm kudos to me. I don't know what commercial I could take from that. Because after hearing all that, it's not about me, it's the mystery author. But you did well. Take me into that same atmosphere, the energy, wonderful. So Happy New Year, Miss Susan. Happy New Year, Mr. Osi, and Happy New Year to my mystery author. I'm telling you, what a buzz. Thank you.
Okay. So what does it take to get published, on CLM?
Okay, on CLM, for me to like you, I'm just kidding. But on CLM, such a wonderful thing to work with. A lot of authors here in the Cayman Islands and overseas. But on CLM, it has to be inspirational and must be, as you were giving all that accolades and claps to the author, must be something like that. It must feed the entire family. The book must, can be picked up by children and adults alike. So that's one of the gauges for CLM. And funds is good. It would be wonderful to have some funds to have your book published. But first and foremost, write a good novel or write a good book, and we're on board with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so earlier I gave a hint, in relation to the author of Slice of Home.
That's not a hint. That's like a whole...
Well, I said the person was intimately involved in education, in the Cayman Islands, spent many years, in education as well. And I almost...
mentioned the marriage officer?
No, I didn't mention that part. But on the Facebook comments, someone mentioned something about joyous. And I wanted to say, I was tempted to say then, take a word from that. But we want to hear from the author, and I'm going to say good morning. Welcome to The Buzz. A happy, healthy, and bountiful 2026 to you and your family. Miss Mystery author, please introduce yourself to our audience.
I think everybody knows by now that I'm Joy Basdeo.
But thanks for having me on, and thanks to Karen for arranging it. And good morning, OC, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I must admit, I am kind of overwhelmed. I really had no idea that this little book would turn out like this and would be so well received. I was talking to somebody from Cayman Brac yesterday because I'm going to Cayman Brac, and I'm really excited to be going to Cayman Brac and going into Cayman Brac schools as well as our schools.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in about 5 or 6 of our schools at Christmas time, and I hope to go into very many more of the schools to read Slice of Home to primary age children. And to be very honest, I love that. To me, that is like coming home. I'm sure I enjoy it more than the kids, but nevertheless. And the person in Canberra was saying to me that they had heard my stories on Radio Cayman. And the thing is, these stories came about because my grandchildren moved away a few years ago. Some of my grandchildren moved to Canada, and they told their father they missed their grandmother's stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote them down and sent them to them at first by email. And then I sent them, when I discovered voice notes, I sent them by voice notes. And then, I ended up doing them for Radio Cayman, Caymanian Stories. And Paul and Joel, and good morning, Joel, if you're listening, I have a book for you. Paul and Joel helped me to record them, and so then I got them on a USB drive and sent them off to my kids. So to be very honest, the stories started out as something that you would read to your kids, and I'm sure many of the kids would be able to read them for themselves. I actually had them edited by 2 of my grandchildren, one who is 7, hello Lila, and one who is 12, hello Emma, and they gave me some very useful hints about the book. So the book is here at last. It's been very well received.
Now, as an educator, former educator, and you talk about your grandchildren and the feedback that you receive from them and the audience that this book is directed to. Can you talk about the learning habits of children in their formative years and how that is so important and how this book will contribute even more so to that?
Well, before I say that, I have to. You did refer to the illustrations in the book, and I have to say, I wish I had brought. Well, you can't see them on the TV, but I got the perfect illustrator. I got an illustrator called Michelle Bryan, who was a young Caymanian from Bordentown. And the book has 26 stories, and she did 26 illustrations, which are absolutely fantastic. And so I really have to say how happy I am. And so it was so good to work with Michelle. So I think that will catch the attention of children. But my idea is to talk about things that happen every day. There's nothing different in this book. This is what we did as children.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I do say that all the stories are true stories, and all the people that I refer to are real people. They're no imaginary people, although there is an imaginary dragon in one of the stories. That was all in my head. It's not a dragon.
Yeah, we've never had dragons in Cayman.
Yeah. But they're all real people and people who existed. And this is how this is how ordinary life was in Cayman. I have to tell you that I have also been going around to senior groups, reading my book to seniors, and the seniors love it because they can relate to it. It was what things were like when they grew up, with no electricity, no telephones. One of the stories, you'll see what happened when my brother got in an accident and there was no 911 to call, there was no ambulance to come. That's how Cayman was. I mean, we only had about probably 5,000 or 6,000 people in the 1950s and 1960s. So I talk about the fact that I knew everybody in Bordentown and I knew the names of all their pets. and everybody knew me, and it was so much freedom. My mother, who, as you probably know, is 97, says to me that she doesn't know how I got up to all the mischief I got up to. But she didn't have to worry, because we were free. We were free to roam the beaches. We were free to go and visit our friends. We were free to go and see our relatives, our grandmothers, and so on. So family was extremely important, and family was extremely close. And I wanted to explain how Cayman used to be and what made us strong as a country. The whole family, the whole church. Church was very important in our lives, and all the different interrelationships in a small town, on a small island.
Yeah. And sure, go ahead, Miss Jen. Sorry.
See, she said the book started when her grandchildren moved away, but I think the book started when she was being mischievous, climbing all those trees and doing all those things. So it started from there. An idea popped into her head, and being mischievous. And I don't think she changed. I don't think she changed much. And they grew up a little bit.
Well, when I started to write the stories, I didn't think I had a lot of stories. But as I talked about them, particularly with my cousins and my brother and sister and so on, in several of the stories, my brother, for example, told me about a story. And when he told me it, I could remember it. And some of my cousins told me about stories as well. And also my friend and my cousin who got into all this mischief with me, whose name is Tonalyn, right?
Yeah.
And, and she told me my favorite story, which is called Lobster Time. That is my favorite story about the time that Tony and I caught a lobster. And all Caymanians will remember the tricks of catching lobsters in those days. We ran the lobster into a paint can that we had carried just for that. Ran him out of the pan shoal into the paint can, got the paint can and got the lobster. And then, of course, we had to cook the lobster, and you will read what happened after we cooked the lobster.
Now, in Cayman, where Caymanians are, becoming a minority, and we hear more and more Caymanians wanting to hear stories about Cayman, going back to the old days. But then the retort from some is, do we really want to go back to those days? And we don't have to physically go back to those days, but in terms of our emotions and, knowing, recognizing where we have come from, that is extremely important. So there is still a huge slice of the Cayman population that want to hear about things that happened in the past. And there's a huge slice that don't know about it because they never lived during that period of time. To
right. And this book evokes a sense of nostalgia for the senior people. That's why they enjoy me reading to them. And as I said, I've been going around doing that to the hub, and I hope to go to some more groups to read because it gives them a good, warm feeling to remember the Cayman that was.
Yep. Ms. Susan, you ready for us to go to a commercial break?
Absolutely.
Folks, just to remind you that we have in the studio with us on this segment of the Buzz, the proprietor and publisher of CLM Publishing, Ms. Karen Chin, and author, Ms. Joy Basdeo, the author of Slice of Home. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. The conversation with these two ladies will continue after this short commercial break.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Cayman, let's talk about your internet and phone service. ORRETT has published a draft proposal for new consumer protection regulations, and we want your feedback. The draft regulations propose new rules to modernize the sector, including proposals to limit back billing to 3 months, introduce a 5-day cooling off period for new contracts, and set mandatory timelines for resolving complaints. The draft also proposes extending these protections to small businesses for the first time. But these are just proposals. To ensure the final rules are practical and fair, we need to hear from you. All submissions on this consultation should be made in writing and must be received by 5 p.m. on January 8, 2026 at the latest. For more information, visit orreg.ky/consultations or email consultations@orreg.ky. ORRETT, working toward a fair and reliable digital economy.
Good morning and welcome to The Buzz. For those of you who are just joining us, I am your guest host, ORRETT Connor, filling in for Miss Kathy Miller on this segment of The Buzz. We are talking with the publisher as well as the owner of CLM Publishing, Miss Karen Chin, and author Miss Joy Basdeo, the author of A Slice of Home. Not a slice, I got to take that back. Slice of Home. The A is omitted from it. Slice of Home. So we've been talking, about the motivation behind the writing, of this book, and you heard Miss Basdeo, speak about, her grandchildren and leaving Cayman, but missing, her stories, and she started out by writing to them and then doing voice notes to them as well. And now they have it all in hardcover or softcover from CLM Publishing as well. So we want to talk also about the type of response that we have received. And I shared, the Facebook comments, as well. And those were certainly, very positive. And I'm sure that there are more to come as well. But so far, the response, what has it been? And you've spoken about the various groups that you have already, read the book to as well, Ms. Basdeo.
Well, I think the response has been very good. But I want to tell you on Radio Cayman that I would not really have written this book if it wasn't for your listeners. Because people kept hearing them on Saturday, and they said to me, Joy, you have to write them down. You have to write them down. And I thought to myself, well, who's going to listen to these little stories that I told my kids and told my grandkids? But they were persistent in saying, Joy, write them down. We want to hear all of them.
Mhm.
And they would call me and they said, oh, I heard your story about West Bay. I love that story. Or I heard your story about frogs. Frogs is not included. That'll be the sequel. And really, I think that sort of motivated me to write them. Well, I had them written down, but to put them together and to find an illustrator. And I have to tell you, I must say to Karen that the fact that there was a publisher on island that you could talk to and develop the book with made a very, very big difference, because I'm not sure that I would have had the time or the inclination to look for a publisher elsewhere, right? So I'll be looking forward to my novel, which I'm writing, and I hope it'll be out by the time I'm 75.
Well, tell us about that novel. Will it be? Is it going to be fictional or part
Well,
fictional or part?
I have been writing a novel for the last 20 years.
Wow, wow.
I just don't have the time. I've had, as you know, an extremely busy life. But I am writing an adult novel, or a novel for adults, which is a historical novel, which is set in the 1800s, right, during the time of slavery, and it is the incident, which is the core of the novel, is true. It is recorded in He Hath Founded It Upon the Seas. So many years ago, I can't even remember what year it was, when I was permanent secretary working with the Honorable Roy Bodden, you know, the New History Committee, we commissioned the book, The Definitive History of the Cayman Islands, called He Has Founded Upon the Seas.
Michael Creighton.
Yes, with Michael Creighton, who is now deceased, actually. Which was quite something, because we really needed a history. And in the development of that book, I came across an incident or something that had happened, and I thought to myself, oh, that's a good idea for a novel. So, but I like to write. It's just to have the time to write. And so I'm developing that idea into a novel, and I'm not doing too bad. It's just that I haven't been rushing it, because I've been concentrating on getting this one out.
Can we talk about the availability, of the book, and whether or not there will be any book signing events as well?
Yes, I hope to have an official launch as soon as we get some more copies of the book, because, to be honest, the first tranche of the book is just about finished. So as soon as I get some more, I hope to have an official signing. One of the things I would really like to do is have a signing up at the Vernon Jackson Library in Bordentown, because, of course, that's my dad, and because a lot of the stories took place at that town hall when it was the Bordentown Primary School, and we all went to school there where my dad was the principal. So I want to go back into my old haunts. But we will have an official signing and so on.
Okay. Now, does the fact that Bordentown was the first capital of the Cayman Islands, does that factor in any way in terms of your writing or the contents, of the book?
I don't think it factors about the capital, but Bordentown is a very interesting place. It's very close to my heart, and people think that I'm a West Bear, but I am not a West Bear. I am a Bordentowner.
You may not be able to get back into West Bay today.
Yes, and I'm still in touch with many people in Bordentown, because that is where it is. And I have to tell you, it was an idyllic childhood. We were very fortunate growing up in that period.
Sorry, go ahead, Ms. Joy.
I'm saying that we were very fortunate growing up in that period, but we lived right next to the sea. The sea was there, and all the things that came from the sea. But and all the people. There was no division in the town. Everybody was in and out of each other's houses and each other's pots. I joke about slice of home, because the reason why it's called Slice of Home is that the book is full of food. And if anybody knows me or my family, we're all foodies. So there's lots of reference to food in the book.
So I think off air you did mention there's only something like about 200 and something copies, but you expect you to get more. And you've spoken, about the way that you want to have those dispersed, as well. And again, as a former educator, do all schools, and this may be a silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, do all schools have libraries? And if they do, what are your plans in terms of furnishing them for those libraries?
Yes, my plans are to get the book into every school library, right? As far as I know, of course, I've been out of education for 20 years now, but as far as I know, all schools have libraries, and I will at least like to get the book into every primary school and also into the public libraries. I must go and talk to them. The book was kind of late coming, and so we had to rush them into stores over Christmas. But now we can, in the new year, we can take our time and have the launch and go and visit various people and various schools and so on.
Okay. And this might be a little controversial question. And, you know, while it's a children's book, and we hear more and more persons commenting, you know, about the lack of or written history being in our schools. And sometimes there's a reluctance to make things required reading. But in some instances, if you really want to get the message across, and if you want Caymanian children and others to learn about Cayman, sometimes you can't just leave it as an option. Would a book like this suffice to be some sort of required reading in schools? Would you support something like that?
I don't think it should be required reading. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a book. This is a fun book, and the children will be interested. But I will tell you two things. First of all, I think that He Hath Founded It Upon the Seas should be in every school library. It's not out of print. It is available at the National Museum shop. Let me give them a big plug. Mm-hmm. And I feel like every school should at least have one copy of He Has Founded Upon the Seas. The other thing I want to tell you is that the schools, which I just found out, the schools have something called Cayman Week. It's coming up this month, right? I'm speaking on various panels and going in various things. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I want to give the minister, and I've told him to his face, I want to give the minister, Isaac Rankin, who I'm taking the copy of the book for, a very big plug for what he is doing for culture and heritage, right? It is really, and people are responding to it. And I speak to a lot of teachers who are not Caymanian, because there's not that many, in my opinion, Caymanian teachers in the schools. But our teachers are taking on this idea of Cayman culture and Cayman heritage and really trying to promote it. And I really think that comes from the Ministry of Education, Honorable Rolston. I'll give you a plug as well. The Minister of Education and the Minister of Heritage and Culture. And the more we can get, the better, as far as I'm concerned, because we have to have a sense of identity.
Yes.
That is what we have been lacking, and we need to be. And I myself will do everything I can to promote the Caymanian identity.
Okay. Miss Karen Chen, she's going to be leaving us at our next commercial break. We're a few minutes away from that. So, Ms. Chen, I want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments, before you leave, and any advice that you want to give to aspiring authors, out there as well, and your accessibility as far as publishing is concerned.
My agent, Ms. Joy Basdeo, would have answered all those questions. Thank you again for having me. But honestly, the youth program, yes, you're right. Thank you. But honestly, I was looking at a question that how do you think Cayman's past can inspire today's generations? And I think you should make sure that Ms. Joy get a chance to answer that.
Yes.
It's important that we realize that these children, we can't blame them for not knowing the culture if we're not passing it on, and we can't blame the teachers either, because it all starts from home. In a sense, you tell your child, listen, this is all I'm going to talk to you about right now, or not really in an aggressive way, but in an encouraging way, to make sure that remember your pledge, remember your anthem, remember your national song, remember those things, and take pride in repeating those in your memory and so forth. So it's important that we carry on the culture, the heritage, and so forth. Publishing and writing, as I'm instructed by my agent, I told her she's my agent. The Cayman Young Writers, we started that 4 or 5 years ago, and it has been a marvelous project to continue with the young writers from 10 to 17 years old. And someone asked the question just yesterday, if I'm at UCCI, can I enter? I said, as long as you qualify under 17 years old, you can enter. You could be in the college, and you're 15, so it's fine. Whether it's UCCI, ICCI, John Gray, or any school, you can enter once you're under 17 and under, and 10 and above. The Cayman Young Writers, we have so far seen the growth with our students, our winners. Abrianne Cooper, she went on to win the regional Optimus Club. She went on also to win the national for CIS, they inducted her into the Honors League for academics. Miss Jasmine Bassina, she won last year, because I just remember we were in January. I almost said she won last month, but she won last year. She's a champion, and she also went on to win the spelling bee. So writing and expressing yourself as these young people, if you want to write whatever it is on your mind, we don't check you out and said you have to write about Cayman, or you have to write about God, or you have to write about, but make sure it's clean and we can appreciate your writing. It's your creative way of expressing yourself. And Cayman Young Writers at gmail.com is the email, caymanyoungwriters@gmail.com, where you can get more information. And regarding CLM Publishing, we are still around, so just in case you want to reach us, it's production@clmpublishing.com. So I am grateful for Cayman receiving me. As Miss Joy said, we are one, regardless of how my accent sound, or regardless of how Mr. OC see me. And he gave Miss Joy a kiss on the cheek and gave me a little side hug.
You noticed that?
We are one, but I got a hug anyway, so I'm still grateful. And as Miss Susan, whenever she can, she'll reach out. First program of the year, we're on it, and we want to trumpet that for Miss Susan. Continue to do what you're doing. Appreciate you reaching out every time.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Karen, and look forward to it. Well, I've been fortunate that every time that I'm guest hosting the Buzz, I've had the pleasure of having you on the show as well. What a coincidence.
Are you on Thursday? Just
Yes.
let me know, and I'll come and back.
Okay, thank you very much, folks. We're going to take our last commercial break on this segment. Please stay tuned. The Buzz will be back shortly.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Buzz. Each and every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. Brought to you by
Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services.
And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my baby. Rock my soul in the blues of my baby.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
Good morning and welcome back to The Buzz. For those of you who are just joining us, I am your guest host, ORRETT Connor, filling in for Miss Kathy Miller, and it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Miss Joy Basdeo, former educator in the Cayman Islands, a very, very busy person. More so probably after her retirement than before. I find it the same way as well. You're doing more, after you retire than when you were working as well. She is the author of Slice of Home, a book published by her. And before we talk about the importance of preserving our Caymanian culture through storytelling and the fact that we are almost playing catch up as far as our written history is concerned. And in the past, in many instances, we have relied on others to write our history for us. But we come from a storytelling culture, of storytelling community as well. So it was all oral as opposed to, being written. But before we go on to that topic, again, I want you to repeat what you said earlier about your motivation, the motivation behind this book, and for those persons who may just be joining us, what the book is all about as well. So we want to rehash a few things that you may have that you said earlier.
Well, the motivation came about because some of my grandchildren, and we have 9 grandchildren, some of them moved away to live in Canada. And their dad said to them, "What do you miss most about Cayman?" And they said, "We miss our nanny's stories." And he conveyed that to me. And I thought, well, I like to write, so I'll just write them down. And I started writing stories and sending them by email so that their father and mother could read the stories to the kids at night when they were going to bed. And that is something that I encourage all parents to do, because we have always read to our children, and so all our 4 children have all been readers. They read early and they continue to read throughout their life, which is probably the most important thing in education.
Yes.
And then someone told me about voice notes. So I started to record these stories and send them so he would play the voice notes. And then, of course, because they wanted to hear more than one at a time, I put all the voice notes, or I recorded all the stories on a jump drive and sent that off to them. So in truth and fact, the book, people say to me I worked very hard at the book. That's not really true. I had them written down. I just had to put them together, which is when Karen helped. But Karen has left now, and she did not talk too much about the Young Writers Program. Okay. And so I want to tell you about it.
Sure.
She and her committee have a program that encourages young writers. She said the ages, I'm not sure the earliest age, maybe something in 17. And then once I decide the top stories, I'm not sure how many stories are decided on, they publish them in a book. I know because my grandkids are involved in it, in writing these stories. And there are several books, and there must be 5 books, 5 hardback books of these best stories of the year from Cayman's young writers. And that is one of the most important programs that I see taking place on the island right now. So I really have to give Karen kudos for that, because it's all a voluntary thing.
Okay. On the importance of preserving Cayman culture through storytelling, and the fact that we were more a verbal, community before everything was conveyed, through word of mouth. And even today, we as Caymanians, if we're going to answer you, there's a story. There's always a story behind what it is that we have to say. How impactful is
and
that?
Actually, one of the things that I would love to do is go around to the older people, something like what CMR does with her Voices of Cayman. Go around to the older people and get those and gather those stories. So it's something I might think, now that I've retired, I have more time. So that's something I might think about doing. In terms of inspiring today's generation, this is what I'll tell you. I could never have enough time to go into the schools, because when I go into school and read one story, let's say I read a story called The Dentist Comes to School. All the older people will remember that, when Dr. Edlin and Nurse Hebe came to school in their big black car and you had your teeth extracted or filled or whatever. The kids would keep me there for hours. They have a million questions about what life was like. Same thing about the story when I went to West Bay and just to be with my grandmother, my extra grandmother, because I had 3 grandmothers, and all about going on the bay to get turtle, cook the turtle on the caboose, pick the breadfruit to roast, right? All of those, make the swanky to go with it, try and milk the cow. The kids enjoy hearing that I am terribly afraid of cows, and there's several cow stories in it, especially from Bordentown. So the stories are interesting, but it tells them this is how things were in Cayman. Things that they had probably never thought about, especially the younger kids. And someone was asking me about how I decided what stories to put. And because it has 26 stories, I have more stories. I don't know if I have enough to do a sequel. But I remember the stories as stories that took place in the earlier part of my life and my childhood and the later part. So I sort of grouped the stories in things that happened when I was about 5 or 6, things that happened when I was 7 or 8, things that happened when I was 9 or 10, right? And so when I go into schools and I see the class that I'm talking to, I know which story to pull to catch their attention.
Yes. That's interesting. That's extremely interesting as well. We have about less than 4 minutes, to go. Based on my observation, it is clear to me that financial reward was not the motivation, for this book. But at the same time, we want to talk about availability of the book and the cost.
The cost is $25. It's in the book nook. It's in Next Chapter. It's in Pure Art. It's in the museum, and I hope it's going to shortly be available in the gallery. In terms of financial motivation, this was a labor of love. And I enjoy doing it very much. And if I make the cost of publishing, but I have to tell you, the cost of publishing is not as much as you might think. If I make back the cost of publishing, well, that'll be a plus. But one of the things in our conversation, we were talking about encouraging writers. I found out recently that there are over 100 books published about Cayman by people in Cayman. Virginia Foster, who is an educator, a former educator, has the whole collection of all the books that were published in Cayman. Many of them are out of print, right? Okay. But I think if we could somehow get some support, for example, from government, to publish some of these books, as I said, it's not that expensive, right? Then we could continue to promote the culture. It's certainly something I will be talking about with the minister if I have the opportunity, because not everybody can afford a couple of $1,000 to put on publishing a book, but they might have an idea and they might have a story. And I will also say that the what's it called again? The Harquail, the Cultural Foundation. The Cultural Foundation does offer grants, right? Small grants, but grants that would help authors publish their books. I didn't apply for it because I really didn't need to.
Okay.
But it is there. So that's another thing that authors need to know.
Mm-hmm. Very quickly, I looked at the clock, but I want to ask this question because this is extremely important, and you being an educator as well, the role of that language plays in shaping children's imagination, but also the role that language plays in preparing our children for the real world, for the work world as well, and we see more and more drifting away from proper English being written, proper English being spoken, and should we really deviate from that if we want to really succeed in the business world?
Well, I agree. And I think there is nothing that will help that as much as reading. Because now the thing is, even with kids, you see them, they're scrolling all the time. Everything is short. They don't. I even see, for example, now you can get an app and they will condense books for you. You're not getting into books. You're not discussing and having discussions about literature or about fiction or nonfiction. And I have to tell you that this starts at home. It starts when the children.
Yes.
I have just sent the book to my 3-year-old, my youngest granddaughter who lives in Hong Kong, right? And I'm looking forward to going to Hong Kong and to actually reading this book for her. Mm-hmm. Her parents will have read it to her, but I will also read it to her, because you have to start early with kids, right? You have to start early with reading to them and encouraging them to read. And in this fast-paced world, I think reading is really the most important thing, and getting that language when they're small, even before they go to school, so that when they go to school, they will already be looking forward to hearing stories, looking forward to learning to read, and so on. But it is probably the most important thing.
Okay, Ms. Basdeo, I want to congratulate you on the writing and publishing, of your book as well. Looking forward to getting a copy of it for my granddaughter, as well. I certainly going to make sure that I do that. And we're also going to be looking forward to the novel that you will be writing, as well. Again, congratulations, folks. We're going to go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. And when we return, we will be talking about...
Island Soul.
Island Soul. We will be having discussions with Cara Dornan and Tim Heath. Don't change that dial. The Buzz will be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The National Drug Council welcomes a new chair, vice chair, and 2 new members. Mallory Warnock and Dane Ramoon will serve as chair and vice, respectively, through December 2028. The 2 new members are Katina Anglin and Andy White. There were 3 reappointments as well. In international news, armed police have been seen patrolling the streets of Venezuela's capital, Caracas, in an image shared by the Interior Minister. In a video shared online, the security forces are filmed shouting, quote, "Loyal always, traitors never." Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores were seized from their Caracas compound on Saturday and flown to the U.S. as part of a special forces operation. Earlier, the country's exiled opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, described Maduro's arrest as a, quote, "huge step for humanity, for freedom and human dignity." In the same interview with Fox News, she said new interim president Delcy Rodriguez, who had been Maduro's deputy, quote, "can't be trusted." And the Swiss bar that was the scene of a fire that killed 40 people and injured 116 hadn't undergone safety checks for 5 years. The mayor of Crans-Montana, Nicholas Farad, told a press conference that he could not explain why the La Constellation bar hadn't been checked in so long, but that the council was, quote, profoundly sorry. He added that sparklers, which are believed to have caused the fire, will be banned in local venues. Local authorities will now bring in an external contractor to inspect and audit all 128 venues in the area. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Good morning and welcome back to The Buzz. Just a little bit of housekeeping to remind our listening audience, and I will say quote-unquote viewing audience as well. There is no video on YouTube, only audio. We apologize for that, but we will soon have things sorted out where we will be in our refurbished digs. And you know, when you see it on camera, you will be amazed, and I'm sure that you're going to love it as well. Meanwhile, I'm filling in for Miss Kathy Miller, and we want to send our regards to Miss Kathy Miller as well. On this segment of the show, our guests are Kerry Dornan of Island Soul Cayman and Mr. Tim Heath of Live Well Solutions. Folks, welcome to The Buzz.
Thank you so much.
So, first, can you tell me, as well as our audience, about Island Soul Cayman? What is it all about?
Of course, and thank you so much for having us. So Island Soul is a company that's really here to help create a world that feels more alive. So we're doing that by creating immersive experiences that bring people into the present moment and to help them connect really with themselves, with each other as our community and the natural world. So we're about a year in now, which is great.
Okay, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, Island Soul, this collaboration is something that is very special because of what it represents and the impact. A positive impact on community, but the Live Well side of things is that we align very much so in what we're focused on, and that is the positive lifestyle, well-being, and helping people to be better, to live better.
Okay, so let's first talk about the partnership and how did that develop?
Yeah, it was definitely organic, wasn't it, Tim? I think for me, and probably answer for you as well, where I'm always keen to collaborate with people that are aligned with the values and also the purpose, really. So this was a great partnership. When we just naturally started to talk about the festival, it was almost a no-brainer for us to collaborate on that. And Live Well have a very unique offering around their methodology, and it fits perfectly within the Island Soul Festival.
And, as far as the upcoming event on the 31st of January, what is the main objective and the main motivation behind that?
For us, it's all about connection. So it's peace, love and community is kind of our saying. And it's about connection to yourself, connection to others, and really connection to life. So we want people to be leaving there with energised, and being inspired and maybe making a new friend. And we definitely had that last year, maybe finding a new hobby or even just learning something new. So it's all really about that, and it's about us having fun whilst we're doing those things as well, which is a key element.
So can we then talk about the lessons learned from last year's event?
Yeah, it was our inaugural event last year, and it was organised, I would say, relatively quickly. So from that, what we're doing is building. So we're getting a lot more brands, a lot more companies involved within the festival this year. We've got over 40 different practitioners, instructors, vendors, companies involved, and across a full spectrum. And we're just looking at making sure that we have got something for everybody. So we've got a lot more activities that people can try, all types of dance, all types of fitness, all types of yoga, Pilates, lots of different activities, lots of creative things, and really just learning from the past experience that we've got, making sure that we've added in any of those elements to make it a really fun and exciting day.
So when I look at your website and the ad there for the festival, it's January 31st, 2026, and it talks about a full day wellness and creativity experience, movement, music, and island energy. It is guided by the Live Well 6 principles, and it is for every age, every vibe, and every lifestyle. Can we talk about those 6 principles, Live Well 6 principles?
Yeah, absolutely. So the guiding principles of Live Well Solutions are as follows. The mental, physical, nutritional, social, spiritual, and financial. And so these 6 tenets guide our programming, whether it's for corporations, and in this case, for the community. So in this community event, when we came together, we discussed, this beautiful just merging of our focus and our values, and how to maybe even structure it, in a way that this didn't, the first time. These sort of principles, yes, they were there, but we wanted to make sure things were really packaged nicely in terms of the programming and delivery of this event.
Okay, and the venue for the event, is it the same as last year? And if it is, where was last year's?
Yeah, it's the same. So we are hosting this at the Holiday Inn Resort. So we're super grateful for the resort for hosting us. It's a fabulous location. I do a lot of events there within Island Soul, and every time people say to me, we forgot how beautiful this venue is, and definitely for something like this that we're putting on, it's absolutely perfect. So yeah, it's going to be at the Holiday Inn Resort.
So let's take our audience through a walk of some of the festivities that will be taking place.
Cool. I'll take this.
Walk us through there.
So it's a jam-packed programme, let's say that, and it's been intentionally designed that way because what we'd like is people to design their own experience. So you're going to have so much choice, you're going to need to figure out what you want to do. Either you go with the flow and just see where you land, or you make a plan, but you could be flowing through yoga 1 minute, learning to salsa dance the next minute, doing a fitness class the next minute, maybe learning to crochet, paint. Maybe you're sitting in meditation, or maybe you're just having an amazing lunch at the Driftwood Bar whilst you're watching the synchronized swimmers perform a performance in the pool. So there's a lot going on. It's really for people to design. We've used the principles intentionally, but there is absolutely something for everybody across this program. And I cannot wait to speak to people afterwards because not one person will have the same experience. So super excited to see what people choose.
So based on all of these activities, it is quite obvious then that there will be many promotions going on. You have many persons who will be experts in their particular field, as well. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, if you want to highlight some of those, and if you want to call names in terms of those persons who who will be there, if you have their permission or if you feel that you want to as well, because we want to get as much. We want to get as much information out there, as possible, and of course we also want to talk about the. With it being the first event, the amount of participants and, what the feedback has been so far in terms of what you're likely to expect, at the 2026 event as well. Folks, please stay tuned. The Buzz shortly.
93, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The 7:20 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Credit Union. On the road to 50 years of serving our members. Visit creditunion.ky to join today.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Good morning and welcome back to The Buzz. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm your guest host, ORRETT Connor, filling in for Miss Catherine Miller. It's my pleasure to have in the studio with me Miss Kara Dornan, right? I almost said to put the M there, who is from Island Soul, and also Mr. Tim Heath, who's the owner of Live Well Solutions. We are talking about the upcoming Island Soul Festival taking place on the 31st of January at the Holiday Inn. We're going to talk more about the activities taking place as well. Folks, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much. So just to give people a bit of context, it's a jam-packed agenda. We've got 5 key hubs. One of them's a movement zone. We've got a couple of tents in there like dance and fitness. We've got a flow zone with yoga and Pilates. We've got creativity zone with lots going on in that space. We've got soul sanctuary, which is like our meditation, our breath work, go in. And then we've also got a kids zone. So you can actually bring your child. You can they can go into the kids zone and be entertained whilst you actually enjoy yourself and the activities. We've got about 17 different experiences going on across the day. And as we said before, we've got about 40 different brands or companies involved. And a lot of our island favourites. We've got the Performance Lab are going to be there. Who else have we got there, Tim?
We have Fit Babe is going to be there. We have OJ from Oscore Fitness.
Yeah. We've got Nasaria and Randy going to be there. Randy's actually closing us with a big drumming circle.
Okay,
so we're hoping, it's going to be really cool.
Yes.
We've got lots of cool things happening. We've got salsa dancing, we've got bachata, we've got soca dancing. We've got lots of different fitness. We've got the light room going to be there. It's endless, I think, who's going to be there. So super excited. We've got performances happening by the synchronized swimming team. We've also got aerial silk performances and also some live music performances, which we won't spoil it yet. We've released that lineup of who that will be. But yeah, it's a fun, engaging event. We've got Sosha, who's going to be our MC for the day. So high energy, she's great addition. And we'll bring the full vibe. So we will start to release the programme in the coming week, in the coming days actually, and just start to show people what's there. But yeah, all the best of what we have here in Cayman is going to be there.
Okay, and if they wanted to view those things, where can they find all of that information?
So all of our information is either on our social media, so Instagram, Facebook, but also on our website, which is islandsoulcayman.com. There you've got all of the information about the festival, and also is where you can buy your tickets, which is clearly important. We've also offering group tickets though, so a lot of organisations we're connecting in with that actually see this as an amazing gift to their employees. So we've got different corporate pricing or group pricing. So again, if anyone is interested in that, if you're a company listening to this and think that that's a great idea and you want to give back to your employees, then just get in touch with Tim and I and we can work through some of that group pricing.
Now, it's quite obvious that this festival, is intended for all demographics. And we know here in the Cayman Islands that we constantly have persons coming in to the islands to work as well. What sort of advice would you give to someone who's just trying to find, get their footing, in the Cayman Islands as far as culturally and socially, as far as those two aspects are concerned?
Yeah. So for me, it would be just jump in. I think there's so much going on here, amazing activities happening within Cayman, and a lot of the experiences you can come alone. So within Island Soul generally, but within the festival, we are encouraging everybody to come, whether that's on your own or with friends. And we will probably set up spaces where you can meet people, meet the community, the connection, and you will leave the festival with a new friend or a new connection of some sort. We've had this in the past and many events. So yeah, I think, being new on the island, it's just try new things. And the festival is amazing for that because, you may have wanted to try something but was nervous to go alone, or maybe you didn't quite have, the time. So this is everything's in one place and you can try that out.
It's also a very nice cross-section of the community and the vendors from that standpoint as well. So people new to island, they'll be introduced to, like Brita, the different types of companies that are pretty much mainstays here now. So they'll be able to experience. So these are some of the brands that I want to work with or be a patron of. In addition to finding your vibe, your tribe, right, during this event.
Yeah, maybe they're going to meet a friend in the ice bath.
And now, if I'm new to the event, how should I prepare myself for it? How should I dress? How prepared should I come?
Yeah, so it's all about comfort. So you're coming as your true, authentic self. Obviously, it depends on the activities you want to go in and be involved in, but really comfortable, athleisure, something that you're going to be comfortable in for the day. Maybe even bringing a change of clothes would be good. And preparing, really, I don't know if there's much to do. It's more about getting excited. Like, what is it you want to try and to see what's there and start to plan your experience.
Did we mention the hours that'll take place, the time frame?
Yeah, so we're planning to start at 10 in the morning and we will finish at 6:30. So we're going to start intentionally and end intentionally as well. So we're going to start with some sound baths. I don't know if you have experienced that before yourselves, but it's going to be a great gentle way to start off the experience with intention, and then we're going to end with high energy with a drum circle and dance and fire.
I'm not familiar with the sound bath, so tell me about it.
Yeah, so sound baths, we use this quite a lot in our experiences, and it's using different frequencies to help move the energy in your body.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of emotional impacts or reactions that happen, and it's just all that stored energy that we don't get to shift, and you're literally laying there and having sound frequencies played to you, and you're just really enjoying it. Really resets your nervous system. So a lot of people will relax, fall asleep even, and it's afterwards you're just completely renewed and regenerated, rejuvenated.
Now, in the generation that we're in, more and more focus is being placed on mental health as well. How would this festival contribute to mental well-being?
Sure. That's one of the tenets that we focus on, and we wanted to make sure we incorporated that from a programming perspective. And when we talk about mental health, yes, we have people who are therapists and things of that nature, but there's other aspects of mental health that are often overlooked, and one of those is learning. Right, because if you look at, and there's this word, this fancy word called neuroplasticity, and what that means is essentially the brain's ability to create new pathways and new learning sort of modalities. And with something as simple as chess playing, it has been found a direct link between chess playing and decreasing the risk of dementia as we get older, just because of neuroplasticity. So that is one of the things that we incorporated into this festival, working with the Cayman Chess Federation, the foundation, so that they'll have someone that can teach. You go in, hey, this is Chess 101, this is Chess Boot Camp. So in addition to the mental health therapist side of things and the counseling and all of that will be present, we'll have these other types of mental health modalities.
Now, here in the Cayman Islands, we're more accustomed to the domino playing
dominoes,
as well.
of course.
So, how can we incorporate dominoes into it as opposed to chess, or have both of them?
We make sure it's there, don't you worry.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, we have about 4 minutes left. I want to make sure that you get in all of the pertinent information, at least on this round, for our listeners as well. So want you to cover anything that you may not have already covered in our discussion.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to touch a little bit on the mental health. And Island Soul has really been born from my own journey of transformation. A couple of years ago, I was in the corporate world, living a life full of distractions, whatever that may be, travel, alcohol, running around doing lots of different stuff. And it's taken my own transformation to slow down and take personal responsibility for my own happiness and my own mental health. And that is exactly what this festival's about. All of those modalities, all of the things that I love and have helped me on my journey are included here. So it also gives people the knowledge to try new things, and they may find breathwork, wow, it's amazing, and I'm going to take that on daily now. But also the biggest one is loneliness. And I think, having a space where this is a fun day out. That's number one what it is. It's a fun day out, but we're doing things to nourish our mind, body and soul at the same time. So, and you will meet different people on that vibe and that are, building that community. So I think it's really solving for some of that aspect as well. So we are super excited to be hosting this. We probably want to touch on some of our sponsors, Tim, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, very grateful for
yes,
very
sponsors.
Grateful. So we delighted to have Doctors Hospital as one of our sponsors, and I got the call yesterday from Cynical. Cynical is also going to be one of our main sponsors, and these types of events, they really can't happen without the support of the community and without the support of these types of organizations that want to invest and say, we're with you and we support what you're doing for the community. And which is why we're in the process of sort of solidifying even some more corporate sponsors, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We're in final discussions with a number of others, which we will hope to share. And obviously a big shout out for us again to the Holiday Inn Resort that's hosting this event and allowing us to be flexible and be creative, which is brave of them to do that. So we're super grateful. We're also super grateful for everybody that's involved, whether that's a vendor or a practitioner. We've got Sasha there, we've got Green to Go, we've got Soirees by Sterling that are supporting us, and all of these people are coming to give their time. They're also sharing their product and really believing in suppose what we're creating. So super grateful for everybody that's involved in any shape and form of this experience.
Okay, and again, for those persons who want to know more about the event, tell them how they can access that information.
Brilliant. So either visit our website, so islandsoulcayman.com, or join our social media. Again, Island Soul Cayman, both our handles on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, final comments from both of you.
Yeah.
I think oftentimes in wellness, men feel that they're overlooked and there's not enough for them to do. This is not that. This is completely different. And in all of my 2+ decades of health and wellness programming, this event is unique because there's so much for men to do and be present. And from kickboxing to we have a men's circle. We're going to have a men's circle. There's so much focused on men being present. So men, you are welcome.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I just want to say it's a huge collaboration and community power collaboration, really. So super excited, super grateful. Can't wait to see you all there.
Okay, so folks, the voices that you heard there were the voice of Miss Cara Dernan of Island Soul and Mr. Tim Heath, the owner of Live Well Solutions. We have been talking about the Island Soul Festival taking place on January the 31st, 2026 at the Holiday Inn. We didn't mention prices, and I'm not sure whether or not you want to, or they can get that information when they access your website.
It's all on the website, but it's $95 for a ticket, but everything's included. Everything. Oh, so obviously your food and beverage at the restaurant, it will be additional, but we've got vendors there with lots of products and everything else is included. And as we said, we have got special group pricing for any corporations that want to get in touch as well.
And based on last year's event, you're very extremely upbeat in terms of the level of participation that you're likely to see at this event as well.
Yeah, our tickets are already selling fast. We've got lots of corporations already bought our corporate tickets, and yeah, well, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a great event. Definitely don't miss out.
Do you have a max in terms of the amount of persons that you can accommodate?
We're in discussions with the resort on that.
Yes.
But yeah, we're hoping to have over 500 participants plus the people involved in the event itself. So yeah, hopefully everyone comes out and joins.
Yes, well, we wish you all the best as well. Folks, that is it for me on The Buzz. I welcome you to join me tomorrow morning at 7:30 on For the Record, where we will have the leader and deputy leader of the opposition, I believe. They will be talking about several motions that they have introduced to the House, as well as this will be their first discussion on For the Record for the year 2026. So, folks, have a great day. Please stay safe and God bless.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And Automotive Art Cayman, your car, our passion. And by Dorman Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures. Visit dormanday.ky.
Oh, Cayman moon.
The voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
Shining down from above.
We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman.